Wash it, peel off the outer layers, just cut it in hunks about like this, just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just massage my cabbage that we're going to use to pack this cabbage in. So I probably got about maybe done. I will take those leaves off, and I'll just. Hey friends, it's Wendy Lynn. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some homemade sauerkraut. We love sauerkraut. It's really, really good for gut health, and you can accompany it with any kind of meals that you want. And I found that it's so expensive buying good quality sauerkraut in the grocery store, and it's real simple to make on your own. So I'm going to show you how to do it. All you need is 2 ingredients. You need 1 head of cabbage. You can do green or purple cabbage. I'm doing green cabbage. Wash it, peel off the outer layers, just cut it in hunks about like this. And then you're going to just need a good quality of sea salt. Any sea salt will do. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of sea salt to 1 head of cabbage. You need a good quality mandolin, or you can slice it up with a knife. With the mandolin, you got to be real careful you don't slice your fingers off, because those blades are really, really sharp. So let's start making some sauerkraut. All right, I've already prepped my cabbage. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my cabbage sliced up with my mandolin. I've got all of my cabbage shredded up in my bowl. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of high quality sea salt. I'm using this Celtic salt here today, and I just got a tablespoon measure. I already sprinkled the salt on here, so I'm not going to do that again, but I just used 2 level tablespoons of salt, sprinkled it over there. And now I'm going to just massage my cabbage for my sauerkraut. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, when you clean the head of cabbage and you peel some of those outer leaves off, go ahead and reserve those leaves. I've got them here on the side here. And what we're going to do, we're going to use those leaves when we pack our cabbage in our mason jar. And I'll explain that here in just a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just massage my cabbage. It's got my 2 tablespoons of salt on here. And it's going to take me probably about 15 to 20 minutes to really massage that cabbage. The more you massage and work it, it's going to start creating a brine, and that brine is what we're going to ferment our cabbage with for homemade sauerkraut. So if you've had a bad day and you need to get your aggressions out, just make you a batch of sauerkraut, and you just go to town and you just go ahead and massage and work that cabbage. Come on in here, Robert, so you can see how I'm doing this. So you can already see it starting to make a liquid. And we're going to come back in just about 10 or 15 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like after you've been massaging it for a little while. I've been massaging my cabbage probably for about 7 minutes, and you can already see all that liquid that it's creating. And that's the natural brine that we're going to use to pack this cabbage in. So I've probably got about maybe 10 more minutes to go, and then we'll tune back in so you can see the brine that it's made just by massaging that cabbage. Okay, so I'm done massaging my cabbage, and you can see all the liquid that it's made. Zoom on in here, Robert, so you can see all this liquid in there. So that's just the natural brine in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pack my mason jar. Now I'm using a 1-quart mason jar, and the cabbage, the sauerkraut, once I pack it in, is probably going to go up to about right here, and that's okay. You can bring it all the way up to about there. You just want a couple inches of head space at the top. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the cabbage in my mason jar, and then we're going to just pack it down on in there. I'm going to use this little thing right here. All right, so we're just going to go and put this in there, that cabbage. And then once I get a certain amount in there, I'm just going to take my hands on it. I'm going to really pack it down in there. Now you can use a tool if you want to pack it in. Oops. Oh, don't do that. Sometimes I'm a little messy when I'm cooking. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick my hand, I'm going to start really just packing this down in there. You want everything nice and tight. I'm just going to forego that. Might as well just get on in there nice and work with the food there. All right, I'm going to pack it down. I think I am going to use that. This is so good too when it's done. There's nothing like homemade sauerkraut. It's so yummy and so good for you. Okay. All right, so we're just going to have about half. I would have liked to have a little bit more in there, but my head of cabbage wasn't quite as big as I should have had. So, you know, I probably could have done 2 heads of cabbage for this. And I would probably still use 2 tablespoons of salt even for that, because it's really all you need. You don't want it to be overly salted when it's done fermenting. All right, so we're just packing this all down. Make sure any little bits are off of the side. So when you're fermenting foods, you got to be real careful. You got to make sure everything, all of the food is underneath the liquid. Because if the food is above the liquid, that's when you can have bad bacteria growing in there. We want good bacteria. That's what's produced with the fermentation of foods. We don't want any bad bacteria. So you got to make sure everything is underneath the water. Now I'm going to take those leaves that I reserved, and I'm going to put the leaves in there on the top, and that's going to help to hold down the little bits of shredded cabbage. So I'm just going to put those leaves in there on the top. And once our sauerkraut is done, it takes about 3 weeks, about 21 days for the fermentation process. So once it's done, I will take those leaves off, and I'll just discard of those. So, all right. So I've just kind of layered those leaves on the top. You want to make sure all the leaves, everything is underneath that brine. All right, now what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of things that I bought. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put the links below in the comments. All right, so make sure everything's under there. Okay, so now what I do, I have a glass weight. This is specifically made for fermenting with mason jars. So I'm going to put this glass weight in there, and that's going to hold that cabbage underneath that brine, that liquid. A little bit of a leaf is sneaking up top, so I'm going to tuck that down. And you can kind of zoom in and see the water level, that all the cabbage is underneath that brine. Very important that everything stays underneath the brine. Okay, so I've got everything under the brine. Take a look at that. Now what I'm going to do, I've got these special lids. This is an airlock system, because when the cabbage starts fermenting, it's going to produce gas in there. And if you want, you can have just a regular lid that doesn't have this airlock device, but you have to burp it every so often, and there is a risk of getting air in there. If you don't have this type of airlock system and you don't burp the jar, it can actually explode in there. So we don't want that. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and put this lid on. And this is an airlock device. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this halfway up with water. It's got 3 parts. See here? And you just want to wash everything with hot soapy water, your jar, your lids, everything. It doesn't need to be sterilized. Just wash things with hot soapy water. Now I'm just going to fill this halfway up with water. And I do use filtered water from my Berkey for this. All right, so I filled it up about halfway with water. There's little holes in there that you can't see. And what that does is it keeps the air out, but it lets the gases from within this jar leave out of the jar without introducing any air from the outside in. All right, so just tuck that down, just like so. Okay, just going to wipe everything off. Now, that's all there is to the prep of the sauerkraut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in I have a secondary pantry that stays dark most of the time. You want to store it in a dark place where the temperature is around 68 to 72 degrees, and you're going to just let it sit for 3 weeks. I know it sounds like a long time, and you're going to be tempted to go in there and taste it, but the good bacteria, really, it takes about 3 weeks for that good bacteria. It's got lots of probiotics to develop, so really try to be patient, and you're going to just let it sit for 3 weeks, okay? So I'm going to go put that in my secondary pantry in a dark spot, and I'm going to see y'all back here in about 3 weeks, and I'll show you the finished sauerkraut. So, I was thinking I didn't want to actually wait 3 weeks to show you the end product of the sauerkraut. So I actually had a batch that I made from a couple weeks ago that we're almost done with it. This is actually just a small little bit of the batch that I made a few weeks ago. So I just want to show you what it looks like. It smells really good too. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this sauerkraut out. Look how delicious that is. Perfect sauerkraut there. All right, so you can just eat a little bit of this every day. You can put it on the side of any dish that you want. It's good on hot dogs, side of a sandwich. You can make Reuben sandwiches with it, all kinds of stuff. It's really, really good. I'm going to say this. It smells so good. It's so good, way better than store-bought. It's got a real nice crisp to it. Light, salted, soury flavor. Really, really delicious. So I hope you give it a try. Don't be scared or intimidated about fermenting foods. When you're done with it, sometimes it's trial and error. It might take a few times before you get it right, but once you do, you're going to love it. I mean, it's just so good, and it makes me feel so good and happy when I can do something on my own and I don't have to depend on buying it from the store. So give it a try. Let me know in the comments how it turns out, and I'll see you next time on Wendy Lynn's Kitchen.